everybody. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today for our proposal session here at the NFA. We are so excited for our upcoming convention in Atlanta next summer. And we are bringing you the proposal application seminar to get you some information about how to submit your proposals this year. The application might look a little bit different, but we are so excited to have you all. This meeting is being recorded, and we will have the recording up on our YouTube channel probably sometime next week. So I am going to pass the mic to Jennifer Clark, the Executive Director of the NFA.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on. I'm sure you have a busy Saturday, so thanks so much for being here and spending some time with us going through the proposal application process. So just let you know what we're going to be working on today. So introductions, the purpose of the session, what we hope to accomplish by spending the time together today, some data from past conventions and some guidelines, looking at the artistic vision of the program chair, Mariana Gariazzo, and additional tips and insights, and then a detailed look at the application process. So I'm handing back to Millie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Millie Harrod, and I am the membership manager at the NFA. I will be helping with your proposal. The way I will be helping with your proposal is I will be helping with any of the technical aspects. So if you have any issues with logging in, with actually submitting the proposal, if you have any questions like that, please feel free to email me. And I also play a big role in registration for the convention. So yeah, if you have any questions, we'll go through this, but feel free to email me.
Great. So I'm Jenny Clark, the Executive Director. This will be my fourth in-person convention with the NFA. I think I may know what it's all about by now. So a very complex event that we put on. And I'm really happy to be working with our artistic team, Marianne and Christina, this year.
Hello, everyone. So I think that's the cue for me to introduce myself. I'm Mariana Gariazzo, and I am serving as the program chair for the next NFA Convention, number 53 in Atlanta.
I'm Christina Ballatore. I'm the assistant program chair for Atlanta.
Wonderful. So Mariana will talk a little bit more about the team's vision for this year's convention as we get a little bit further down the agenda. So basically, the purpose of the session is to give you information which will help you complete a really full application and help you know the kinds of things that we're looking for. So we'll provide some data and details. We're going to review the guidelines and provide some insights into the artistic vision. So we'll provide some ways to help you submit a strong proposal. And then we're going to Millie will guide you through the application process online, so you'll take a look at what it actually looks like. So here's some data. So in 2023, when we were in Phoenix, we received 413 proposals and 218 were selected, so that was 52%. In 2024, we had 512 proposals, of which 132 were selected. That was this was the one that we just had in San Antonio with Alberto Almaza. So you'll see that there were fewer that were selected in 2024. Alberto responded to comments from our members that there are a lot of sessions that overlap. So he wanted to thin out the content a little bit so that people could attend more of the sessions that they wanted to, and that we wouldn't have sessions that had very few people in attendance. So that was his perspective. In 2023, Ali Ryerson was focusing on jazz quite a bit, so she had certain content that was related to that. So it really does vary from year to year. For many sessions, only a portion of a proposal is accepted. And this is a really important point, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. So oftentimes the performances, the concerts are stitched together from content from more than one proposal. So you might submit a proposal for a whole evening, a whole concert, but the program chair might select a section, a portion of your proposal, and then place it into a concert with content from other proposals. So you might have 10 minutes of music in a concert. And this allows us to have lots of artists involved and lots of different proposals represented, and also gives a really broad range of flute music, which is really what we want, is a lot of different representation of a lot of different music by different flutists. The number of sessions is also based on how much space we have at the convention location. And if you were at the last two conventions, they were in these really huge convention centers with like loads of space. So that in Atlanta, we have a lot of rooms, but the layout is much more compact. We're all in one hotel, and the convention center is right underneath. It goes down 3 floors on one side and up 3 floors the other. So we go in a big loop, and it's a really beautiful location, and it's going to be a great place for our whole community to be all together for our hotel and our convention activities. But it means that there's not these huge expansive spaces, but we do have a good number of rooms that will be programming. So the most important thing here is the date for the submission. So your submission of your proposal is due on October the 8th at 11:59 p.m. Central. And you're going to be submitting your proposal through the member portal on the NFA website, which is nfaonline.org. So late submissions will not be accepted. And really can't emphasize enough to start early. And we'll talk about that a little later. But recommend that you don't leave it to the last minute, because we have, as Millie mentioned, we have a new process this year, new form. So you can read all the guidelines on the website, and contact Millie if you have any membership questions. And that's on the next slide as well. You need to be a member in good standing in order to submit a proposal. So the focus of your proposals may be in these areas: performances, workshops, panels, lecture recitals, sight reading sessions, and warm-up sessions. The Flute Ensemble Festival has a separate application process, and we're not reviewing that today. The application will be posted on the website in early October, and the deadline is November 17th. And a flute ensemble is considered a group of 6 or more flutists. So ensembles of 5, up to 5 musicians, which could be different instruments or flutists, will come in the main proposal system. And if it's a flute choir of 6 or more flutists, it goes in the Flute Ensemble Festival application process, which has a later deadline. So this is important. So each NFA member may submit up to 3 proposals, but each one must be in a different category. So other categories are listed here below. So NFA committees may submit up to 5 proposals. So I'm going to skip the list because you can read the list there. So committee proposals must further the mission and goals of the committee presenting the proposal. So it's not for just a committee member to submit the proposal that they would ordinarily submit. It has to be connected to what the committee has decided would be a good proposal to further their mission of how they can do one particular thing for the NFA, one particular area of concern for the NFA. Those proposals must be fully detailed with all the programmatic information, and will be reviewed with the same criteria as other proposals. So you have to have full details of the program, the performers, the music, or the panel. I mean, most of the ones that are accepted for committees are actually workshops and panels, so not so much performances. But you have to have details of who's involved, what the point of it is, what the message is, what you're going to be working on, and how. So now Mariana is going to introduce the theme and focus of the convention: unity and university oneness. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Mariana.
Thank you, Jenny. I hope that you all can hear me. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon from wherever you are tuning in with us. For those of you that came in a little bit later in the meeting, I'll introduce myself again. My name is Mariana Gariazzo, and I am serving as the program chair for the Atlanta Convention, along with my superstar assistant program chair, Cristina Ballatori, and a tremendous staff, a team of NFA staff that are working year-round to make this possible for you next year. So I say I am, right, because preparing a convention takes about 2 years, if not earlier than that, if we count the booking of the hotel. So this is really a project in the making, and is part of a community effort. And let me tell you something, you as a member and you as a prospective proposal applicant are instrumental in making this convention possible. So I am so grateful that you are here with us today, and I am welcoming of all of your questions. So let me explain a little bit about this topic, kind of enigmatic oneness, unity and universal oneness. So when I was given the task to find a theme for next year convention, I reflected in the vast diversity of our flute community. And I wanted to find a way to connect the dots among our differences, to focus a little bit on what we have in common, celebrating our diversity through our shared humanity. So that's how the theme of oneness came to mind. The idea of oneness suggests that everything in the universe, to get very philosophical, is interconnected, that there's no separation between the one and the many, that what affects the one affects the many, and what is done to the many affects the one. So our universal and shared humanity makes us part of an inseparable whole. We are one, united through diversity. When thinking about what to propose for the next convention, try to find ways to weave ideas, repertory, and concepts in ways that may align or support the overall theme or ethos of this upcoming convention. If the theme of oneness or unity becomes a little bit vague for you, think about words like interconnection, or even better, connection or relationships. Let me explain by providing some examples. If you are a teacher, how do you connect or use your passion for flute and your passion for teaching to inspire your students? How do you connect the dots between what you do and how you impact other people? Or here's another example. How do you cultivate relationships to foster unity and cohesiveness in your flute studio? Or maybe it's among your coworkers, or maybe it is on your flute ensemble or your chamber music ensemble. What makes you one with your group? If you are a performer, how do you connect an idea that is printed on a piece of paper and a thought, a concept that a composer had, and how do you interpret that and bring it to an audience? How do you reach, connect, and deliver your musical message to an audience? So try to reflect and think about this kind of in-between work. You know, how do we do things in between? How do we offer ourselves in service to our community? So to help you connect with this theme of unity and universal oneness, in the description, we provide many examples. For example, explore the concept of interconnection, the bridging and merging of musics, styles, cultures, systems of thoughts, aesthetic ideas, pedagogical approaches, flutes and instruments of all kinds. I'll furnish here a couple more examples. So how does Alexander technique relate to body mapping or yoga or meditation? How do these different approaches inform your playing and well-being? If you do research on one composer, what different musical aesthetics, genres, music styles, or instruments influence the music of such composer? Or if you do research on a group of composers, what does this group of composers have in common and how they relate to you? In addition to this, I wanted to say that Atlanta is a city with a rich history of diverse culture, the birthplace of MLK, and a hub for civil rights movements, an emblem for peace and nonviolent activism. So we would love to hear about projects or ideas that underline collaboration, the building of community, service, self-forgetfulness, because sometimes to serve others, we need to forget a little bit about ourselves. This idea of interconnectedness, love, compassion, justice, nonviolence, and peace. There is also a very dynamic tradition of HBCUs in Atlanta, and I would like to make a special call for proposals that highlight the history of academic excellence fostered by HBCUs, faculty, and students. To sum up, so think about what brings us together, what highlights our shared humanity. Think about interconnectedness, connection, and relationship. How do you relate to the flute, and how that relationship can bring forth your contribution to this world? And that, I hope that explains a little bit of what the theme is about. I will happy to entertain questions about this. You can put those questions in the chat or wait until the end so that we can have a little discussion during the Q&A section. But now I would like to pass the mic to my wonderful assistant program chair, Christina Balatori, for some tips on how to think about proposals.
Hi, thank you. We are so excited to see all of your proposals and to hear your performances. As Jennifer indicated earlier, we get hundreds of proposals for these conventions. And in order to feature as many flutists as space and time will allow, the next few tips are going to be really helpful for us if you can stick to them. So first, pro tip, please make sure your proposal is clear and concise. What do you plan to do? How do you plan to do it and why? How does your proposal align with the theme? Second, timings. Please make sure your timings are accurate. If you need to overestimate the time, that is much better for us in terms of programming than you underestimating the time for what event that you're proposing. Please make sure when you fill out the application that Millie will go over with you in just a little bit. Please make sure that all of your program information, your opus numbers or keys, the titles, the composer dates, the composer names are correct. We will have to put all of this information in the program book. And the more accurate your information is, the easier it makes our job. So please make sure that information is complete. As Jennifer mentioned earlier, we do want to feature as many flutists as possible. And this will mean that maybe you propose 5 pieces, but we only pick 1 or 2 of those pieces to be featured on a concert with other people. So understand that that is a possibility, that your whole proposal may not be accepted, and understand that that's our way of including as many people as we can. If you are premiering a new work or you've commissioned a new work to be performed at NFA, we do need to hear a sample of that composer's work, even if it has not been completed yet. So if you want to give the world premiere of a piece, please provide other samples of that composer's work when you complete your proposal. Along that line, if you're proposing a world premiere and you don't have a recorded version of a performance of that particular piece, we want to hear your best sample of your own work. So if you can't provide your own performance of the piece that you're performing, please give us another example of your own performance so that we can hear how you play. Also, if you are project or your performance or your event requires any kind of technical assistance, audio, visual equipment, you will need to provide that information on the proposal form. Actually, this year you won't be able to submit your proposal unless that information is included, and we do need that information. So if you come to us during the convention and say, well, I requested this AV and it's not here, we can assure you that most definitely you did not request it, because it has to be in the proposal. Finally, the NFA does not provide pianists for people who perform. We will have a list of pianists for hire that you can contact if you're not able to bring your own pianist, but please understand that we are not providing pianists for performers at the convention.
Oh, Jenny,
Thanks so
you're
much.
muted.
Thanks so much for Christina. It's really great stuff, and Mariana as well. Yeah, so here's a few tips and strategies. So as I mentioned before, start early. Give yourself plenty of time to create your strongest submission. The application process is revised this year. If you've done this before, you'll know that it was like a 3-part process. Well, now we have one form basically, and in the past you would upload your materials. Now we have links to the materials. So you need, and Millie's going to go into this, but you need in advance to figure out where you're going to upload your materials and make sure that you have links that are going to be fully accessible to the reviewers. So prepare your materials offline. Start filling before you start filling out the form, because it doesn't save as you go, and it does have it will time you out after a certain time if you're inactive. So if you put some stuff in and you walk away, you won't see the alert that says you have a certain amount of time left. Do you want to continue? So you don't want to lose your work. So save it offline and get everything all ready so that you can just fill it into the form. And likewise, start working with your collaborators early. Gather all the bios and materials as early as possible. This is not something you can do in half an hour before the deadline. I really encourage you to start working on this as soon as you can. And ask a colleague or friend to read your description for clarity. You're very familiar with your work, but other people reading it won't be. So we don't know what your thinking is. So make sure that it really is very easy to understand what you want to do. When you've finished your application, you're going to click on the button that says save. Actually, when you click on this, you're submitting your proposal. It's set up that way. We can't really change it. So when you click on save, that's the last thing you're going to do, and you won't be able to edit your proposal after that. So when you click on save, you're actually submitting your proposal. And then you'll receive an email which has a copy of your proposal in that confirmation email, so that you can just go back, you can save the email, so you can go back and see exactly what you proposed when you hear back from us at the end of January as to whether your proposal's been accepted. So what's going to happen to your proposal once you send it to us? So we'll get all the proposals together, and then the program chair and the assistant program chair will begin the review process with a committee of reviewers. So they have a number of reviewers from all different disciplines, and very diverse group of flutists who are NFA members are going to be reviewing all the applications together. So we have some materials and tools available to you as you start the process. There's a PDF guide, which gives a step-by-step guide to the application process. And there's also a video guide that Millie has made on the application process, again, step-by-step. There's also a sample proposal application form, but just remind you, you have to submit your application through the portal. You can't just send us the form. It has to be done online so that your application is in the system with all the other applications. So now I'm going to hand things over to Millie, who's going to guide us through the application process. And then after that, we'll go to final thoughts and questions.
Thank you, Jenny. My name is Millie again. I will be sharing my screen here and going through all of the steps. All right. Move you all. Okay, so of course we're going to start at our website, nfaonline.org. I want to show you all, if you have our convention and then over 2025 convention, call for proposals, this is where I would start. You have all of the information that you need on this page and the step-by-steps as to what you need to do. We, as Jenny said, we have step-by-step instructions linked here. I have a video going through the steps, just like this via Zoom screen share. That's also linked here. Make sure your membership is up. So please read through this before you start. And one of the biggest things that I will say just to start out is the form will time you out. So you want to make sure that you have all of your materials ready to go. So maybe that's in a Word doc or something ready to go before you actually are going to submit. And that is why we provided you a PDF with all the fields linked here. And you can have all the information before you actually go into the portal. And so we're actually going to go into the portal and go through the application here. So up here, we're going to hit log in to log into our NFA portal. We're going to type in your username and password. If you are having difficulties with resetting this or you need help, please email me and I can do that for you. We're going to hit sign in. And now, we'll give it a second here. You should be logged in. This symbol up here, sorry, the website is a little laggy here. This symbol should be up. That means you're logged in. If you click on it, it should say welcome your name, and then you're going to hit profile. And this will take you to your portal/profile. Okay, so it should have your name. If you want to, you can check your membership status. If you just click over membership, it should say NFA active. And if it isn't active, please make sure that you reactivate your membership before you start your application. Next, we are going to go to events and proposals and click on that. You will see 2025 convention proposal application. Again, if you are not an active member, this will not even appear for you. So if you don't see it, it might be because your account is reading that you are inactive. So that's a tip. So click on 2025 convention proposal application, and then once more, and this will pull up the application. Please read through the beginning. Again, make sure that you have your application field ready to enter before you get to this form. You will be timed out. You are not able to start the form, save it, and then come back. You have to do it all in one sitting. And make sure that all of the fields that have the asterisks are filled in, or the form will not let you submit. Again, I've linked the website. If you have any questions or issues, please feel free to email me. Here's my email, my NFA email. And if you have any specific ADA requests or questions, feel free to email Daniel, who is the NFA Convention Director. So let's start the form here. I'm going to submit a test form. Up here, please put either your name if you're the performer or if you are with a group or an ensemble. I'll put Millie's group. Whoever is the member, please that is submitting the proposal, please put your first name and last name. Pronouns are optional. I'll put mine. I'm going to put my email. Very important note, if you hover over these blue boxes, you'll get some additional tips and tricks so please read through that. I've included the things in those boxes in that PDF with all of the fields on it. So make sure that you are using your personal email address and not a .edu email address. Unfortunately, we've been having a lot of issues with our emails being blocked by colleges, universities, and just educational institutions. So please make sure that you put your personal email address, and that's the email address that we will be sending the information, whether you are accepted or not in January. Okay. I'll put my city, state or province, country, your phone number. I'm gonna put it TV, so I don't put my personal phone number. And then we get to event type. So if you click on this, please select the category that applies to your session, and you can actually scroll and there's more. If none of these categories work for you, we have added in other fields. So if other, please click here, and then I'll show you here in a second. So I'm going to say lecture recital for mine, and then if you had other, please type it in here. And then we have event categories. So you can select as many as your proposal is connected to the categories. So please read through these. I'm going to put IDEA and low flus. And if your proposal does not go under any of these, please put in the other field. Moving on, here's the event information, propose session title. Make sure your title is concise and inviting by summarizing the content of your event in just a few words. Titles might be adjusted once we're making the program book. If you are submitting a single work, you do not have to provide a title necessarily, and you can just put NA, but this is a required field. I'm gonna put noise proposal. Under the full description of your event, please provide a 250 to 500 word description of your event, and please explain how. Explain how do you plan to deliver this event, and how it will contribute to enrich the convention program and or convention theme, and make sure that's 250 to 500 words. Okay. And then we have the program book description, which is key. This has to be a short blurb of 35 words or less, very concise, please. We unfortunately cannot make the program book descriptions any longer than 35 words. All right, if you are submitting on behalf of an NFA committee, please type in the committee name here so we know. Diversity statement. Please explain how your proposal aligns with our statement of commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. You can find the statement on our website, nfaonline.org/about. If you keep scrolling, it's like right at the bottom. So please fill that in. It's not required, but we highly encourage you to write a statement of diversity. So great. And as some of you may or may not know, we do select a couple of events to live stream at the convention every year. So if you please give us permission, yes or no, to be able to live stream events. And the final decision on which events are live streamed is left up to the NFA. Are there questions? Okay. Yes, if you don't have a description, please put an A in the program for description. Is that correct, Mariana? I believe so.
I think it would be useful to have some information there, even if
Yeah.
it's just the name of the performers and the name of the pieces that we could put with other descriptions if it was combined with other material.
Yeah, the program book description is not for a single piece. So you're not asked to put a description on a piece, but rather a description, a short description of your proposal. If you are proposing a piece, let's say that Beth has commissioned a piece and she would like to perform this piece. So then you can explain that. I have commissioned this piece by such and such within, this, and give us a little bit of a framework. And so that possibly is not something that is going to go in a program description, but just use that to provide any information you think it might be helpful for us to know about your piece. I'm just assuming that the question is if you are proposing to perform only one piece, right? So that's the answer, I think, for that.
Okay, amazing. Let's keep going. All right, program details. We encourage members to submit proposals that include single works, like we said before, that can be programmed in shared recitals. Please fill out the following fields if you have one or more works. If you are submitting, of course, if you're submitting a panel, lecture, or workshop where you are not performing a piece, where you don't have pieces, you do not need to fill these out. And please check if you agree with this. So we have work 1, and you will have the option to fill in up to 5 pieces. So I'm going to put Mozart's dates, which I honestly I should know, but I don't remember, so I apologize. I'm just going to put 2020. And then first name, last name of the composer's dates, if this piece has an arrangement. What type of premiere, if you are doing a premiere, we would love to know if it's a World, USA, or NFA premiere. The timing, please, as Christina said, please be very specific about how long the piece is. This is critical to the programming. The publisher, is this work currently in print, and all of the movements. And once again, you will have the option to do that for 5 works. Also, we have not mentioned this, but please make sure that if you are submitting for a full proposal, that you know that proposals are 50 minutes max. We've gotten that question. Okay, are there more questions, or should we do these at the end? Okay. I'm going to keep going here. Please put the timing as accurate as you best know for all of the pieces or all of your proposal. So I'm going to put 15 minutes for mine. And please put any setup timing. So this is especially very important if you have, for example, a lot of pieces with electronics that might take 10 or 20 minutes for you to actually set everything up, your pedals and all of your mics and things. That is critical for us to know approximately how long that's going to take you. So I'm going to put 10 minutes. All right. Supporting materials. So this is where you will add your links to your videos or audio files This is different than last year. Unfortunately, you will not be able to actually upload like an MP4 or an MP3 or a video. It has to be a link. So that link, we've given some examples, but that link can be to YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, Google Drive, OneDrive, Box, or Dropbox. Any of those services will work. Make sure that the link is available to view for anybody, that it is an open link. And because obviously we have to have access to it. So please make sure that you double check that this is an open access link before you submit it. You will have the option to add links for each piece, so 5. So here you can add your link, and then if you would like to, please put the description of what the link is. So let's say you add a link to the Mozart Concerto. Please put, this is the link to the Mozart Concerto, or just Mozart Concerto link. You can be as specific as you want. Following that, we have links to supplemental files. These could be, we've added some examples, if you have artwork, an outline, PowerPoint that the Mariana and Christina, you would like Mariana and Christina to see about that has to do with your proposal, please add those links here. Again, the links must be open access. And you have the option to upload up to 3. All right. Performer names. So please add your name and or the people that you are performing or doing a panel with. Put my name. Okay, ensemble bio and ensemble name. If you are submitting for an ensemble, again, flute, choirs, and things like that, it's 5 flutists or less. If you have 6 or more, please use the flute ensemble festival application. Also, and then what is required is your bio. If you hover over the blue box again, we have specific bio requirements. Your bio must be a maximum of 300 characters. Please make sure that you don't type in your whole long bio. So make sure that you change this to 300 characters. This is just a kind of a tip because I've had to do this a couple of times the last couple weeks. If you have a long bio, I've actually found a lot of success getting it down to 300 characters using ChatGPT, like an AI software. So it just does it for you. Of course, you have to go back and edit it, but I've actually had to use it myself the last couple of weeks, and it's very helpful. So that's a little tip. All right. If you have additional performers, please put their name, their instrument, and their email. If you have more than 5, you have this last field to add the rest of your people. And then everybody's bios, again, please use the 300 characters or less. If you have additional bios, please put them at the bottom. All right. Equipment requests are very important, this section. Let me read this to you. There will be a limited audio and video resources available for your presentation. Be specific on your needs below and list everything you will need in this application. Check here if you agree. You are responsible for bringing adapters to connect to the hotel equipment and all other equipment needed for the session. A personal laptop computer is recommended. Please download all of your presentation, your audio files that you need, your PowerPoints onto your computer. The NFA cannot provide a laptop or an iPad for you to present. Again, please download all the materials onto your computer. I would not rely on the Wi-Fi at the convention center, even if you purchase it, for it to be the reliability for your presentation. So I would definitely think about backup options. Again, like we will be, some of the sessions might be below ground. So even like your hotspot, or if you bring something like that, we cannot guarantee that that is going to work at 100% speed. So please have a backup plan. All right, audio. Every performance/workshop room will have a mixer, speaker, podium, microphone, laptop audio interface, and AV card. Anything beyond this will be considered during the proposal review process. Some rooms are solely for rehearsals and warm-ups, and those rooms will not have AV capabilities. Check here if you agree. And then you will actually have to fill out the number of microphones that you need. If you don't need any, please put 0 or NA. That is a required field. Video, there will be 3 rooms where projectors and screens will be available. The screens will vary in size and the projector in lumens depending on the size of the room. Please share details below. Check if you agree. If you need a projector's screen, please put yes, no, or can be performed without if necessary. If you need a projector, please put your ideal projector size and lumens. If you don't need it, please put an A. All right. Everybody is guaranteed 30 minutes for load in and load out. So please put the specific time that you need up to 30 minutes. So I'm going to put all right. If you have any additional comments or requests about maybe specific things that you need, please put that in this additional equipment request comments box. All right. So now we are at the end of the proposal of the form. Please hit the preview button once you have filled in all the fields. Once you have filled in all the fields, this button will turn from gray to blue. That means that you've filled everything in. After viewing the preview, please hit the save button to submit your proposal. After hitting save, you will receive an auto confirmation email. All right, so once you hit preview, you will get a preview page of all of the fields that you have submitted. So just go through that and see if you have everything in. Scroll all the way to the bottom to double check that you got everything. You can go back to edit, but make sure that, again, that you make sure that you have all your fields ready to go once you are in the proposal application form. All right. Finally, you're going to hit save. And your proposal is now submitted. You should have gotten a pop-up. I'm not sure if you can see it, but you're good to go. You're going to hit go home. And you should have received an automatic email stating that your proposal is submitted. So I'm going to show you here what the email looks like real quick. We'll go through questions here in a second. All right. I'm going to show you what the email looks like. All right, so this is what the email should look like. And all of the fields that you filled in are actually copied onto this email. That is a new thing this year. So everything should be in there and you have a copy of it in your inbox. So please keep track of this. If you want to save it, I would recommend you do that. Or if you want to print it, you can do that for your records. So that means that you are good to go. If you do not receive the email, number 1, please check your spam. It might have gone there. Number 2, email me and I will help you and figure out where where it went. So, all right.
Millie, can I clarify a couple of
Yes.
things?
Yes.
When you received the email, you saw right there on the screen that many of the fields that you didn't complete or put non-applicable, they come up as false. And this is far from ideal, but that is the form that we can utilize. So it's not that it's false information that you should have provided, it's just that the field was not filled in. And it's not an error. We understand what happened, right? We are working with a form that is far from perfect, but we are trying to do the best that we can. In an ideal world, we would love to have a form that you can revisit and save, that it would save part of your proposal, and then you can come back and complete the rest of the proposal. We all want that, I promise you. Just that we don't have that in the system. So we really appreciate your patience and reading the instructions that Millie has so specifically prepared for you, and that can help you smooth out the process.
I just have one more thing to add about the email. So the email address that you put in the application is where the confirmation goes. So sometimes people might be filling this out for someone else and puts the other person's email address in there, so they will get the confirmation. So if you didn't get it, contact that person and they should have received it.
Great. There are a lot of questions in the chat. I want to make sure that all of them get answered. All right. Should we stop recording now? Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
We can stop the recording. Yeah.
Okay, we are going to stop recording and go through questions. And if you have any other questions, either raise your hand or put it in the chat box, please. So I'm going to stop recording.